be afraid of the job world. In a world that is hyper entrepreneurship, get jobs that will refine you in the places that you want to go to. Don't give yourself an option of failure. I know it sounds a bit like failure is inevitable. No, making mistakes is inevitable. Failure is a choice. I've been dragged online because I've said something. But one thing you never say is this girl failed. No. That's not an option for me. One of the most important attributes of wealth is vision. Evil people won't overthink their evil ideas, but righteous people will.
It's an action bias.
Laziness will lead to death. If you want to have fruit, you have to work for it. He prayed for something he didn't prepare for. If he didn't have people who were able to help him, he would have sank. The only skill that can command you to increase your income, your influence, and your impact. It's the only skill in the world. There's some rooms and conversations that money can't give you access to. You don't get the life that you want. You get the life you settled for.
I hope you guys are excited to get into this episode. Don't forget, if you would like to purchase an investment property in Dubai, make sure to fill out the form below and book a free consultation with me. Welcome to the Building Wealth Without Borders podcast with me, Lámidé Elizabeth, where I'll be bringing you guests from around the world to share their strategies on building wealth. And today we are back in Dubai with international speaker, consultant, Christian influencer, and one of our most watched guests from season 2, Hayley Mulenda. Welcome.
Hey.
For those who maybe this is their first time watching you, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, my name is Hayley Mulenda. I'm an international speaker. I've been speaking for 12 years. So I speak in public sector and the private sector. So I've worked with the biggest corporations, from Microsoft to Google, the UK Cabinet Office, NBC, Meta, Clifford Chance, IBM, JP Morgan. There's a lot of clients that I've been able to work with. I also do consultancy. So I do consultancy for a lot of government officials. I've actually secured my first government client here in the Middle East.
Oh my God, amazing.
So yeah, doing training now. So basically doing public speaking and soft skills training, because a lot of people need that. A lot of people are actually very scared to speak. So just giving those trainings. I do board work. I sit on the board of Wagamama in the United Kingdom as well, doing quite a lot of D&I work. I even just found out like 2 days ago that I was voted #1 D&I expert in the whole of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So yeah, so doing D&I work sometimes as well. I sit on the non-executive director for the Light Christian School, which is the first Christian school in Southeast England. And what else? In terms of, just do a little bit of content here and there, try and make people laugh, try and inspire people to take their faith seriously, because I am a Christian as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. And I run a business with my husband, so yeah.
Amazing. I'm so excited to have you back on the podcast.
Thank you.
I think the reception of the first episode for both of us was a little bit shocking.
Yes.
What was it? What was it like for you?
Obviously, your podcast is very big on, it's big on personal development. It's very big on wealth, of course. It's big on, investments, and people are coming here to basically learn how to make money. And I kind of came through a Christian angle and came through like a biblical kind of angle. And I didn't know how people would receive that.
Yeah.
One, because even though I know a lot of your guests are Christian and you're Christian too, I don't ever want to come across like I'm forcing people, like forcing my faith. Like I want to inspire people to explore Christianity and explore a different way of living. So I'm kind of happy to know that it was kind of well received, and that people could also understand that you can build wealth while sustaining biblical truth and also sustaining integrity. So I was happy to see the reception, and obviously I spoke about relationships and marriage, and that was kind of good that people could also know the importance of kind of like who you build with, because I am building wealth with my husband, and just being able to overcome those kind of boundaries and those, the best I can say it is, those hiccups that can happen within marriage, so that you can also sustain your business well too. So yeah.
Amazing. So excited. And obviously, yeah, exactly. Like you said, on the last episode, we focused a lot on like relationships, biblical principles for building wealth, how you've been able to make 7 figures over the span of your speaking career.
Yeah.
And this time around, I kind of want to focus a bit more on like the attributes, and some of the other attributes, habits, the mindset shifts that will allow people to really build wealth, because we can speak a lot about like this is the asset class, this is the investment strategy, this is that. But a lot of people's relationship with money will not even let them get to that place where they can even do that, even though it seems so basic, like, oh, just do this, just do that. Their relationship with money, their relationship with themselves would not even let them get there. What does it mean for you to be building like kingdom wealth? What does that mean?
Have great work ethic. Have great work ethic. I'm currently in the book of Proverbs, and something that the book of Proverbs constantly reminds me is that laziness will lead to death. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are not challenging their laziness. The truth is, if you want to have fruit, you have to work for it. Don't be entitled and not committed. There's a lot of people who feel very entitled to wealth. They feel very entitled to. That's why even the Bible actually makes it very clear that if you want a get rich scheme, you will lose it very quickly. The Bible is very clear about wealth. The book of Proverbs has taught me so much. There's 3 things that I've learned: the power of your tongue, the power of your vision, and the power of your work ethic.
Okay.
And those are the 3 attributes that if you can get them on lock, and also the power of your circle.
Okay.
So those are the 4 things that I have been able to implement for a very young age. So from the age of 15, I started speaking at the age of 15. And a lot of people kind of like, wow, like, how did you know what you wanted to do? If I'm being honest, I came across public speaking, I came across motivational speaking, and I heard people are getting paid a lot of money for it. And in my head, I just thought to myself, if I start tapping into this very young, by the time that I'm 20, I can really start cashing bank. So the fact that I tapped into public speaking very young, the reason I've been able to build wealth and be able to build my name and my brand at a very early age, because I'm only just 28, is because of the fact that I started 12 years ago. And also I was consistent. I always think about the fact that when I was 18 years old, I did 26 universities in the space of 6 weeks. I went to 26 ACSs in 2016. And I basically just done speaking engagements that added value. And I think for a lot of people, as I said, it's that laziness that can be stopping them. Like, as I said, you're entitled, but you're not committed. And I think, just being able to build wealth, you have to be able to have a system and attributes, a mindset, because the truth is it's hard. It's hard. Like, nobody's ever going to count the tears. Nobody ever is going to count, the hospitalizations. I was hospitalized literally this year. Like, I literally was so sick. I had to go into hospital. But the truth is, I really don't count the scars. I count the wins, because I think the wins, when you are thinking about vision and legacy, whatever the scars are, you have the opportunity to also be able to tell somebody else the way not to go. Because I'm very big on mentorship. I'm very big on directing people to not go that way. So I'm the person that tried 110 ways to tell you the 109 ways not to go. And I'm very big on learn from people who are like 10 years ahead of you, 5 years ahead of you, because it's very likely they've gone down 100 paths that you can actually avoid. I'm very big on the mentorship and the community and the circle of people who really will get you to lock in. And I feel like, just kind of end this and round this up. Like, one of the most important attributes of wealth is vision. Like the scripture says, without vision, people perish. Like, have a vision for your life. And I think one of the things that I'm constantly learning as well is have a system for your breakthrough. I think there's a lot of people who have system for their failure. If it doesn't work out, okay, I have a plan B. No, have a plan B for if it does work. Because if you don't have a plan B for if it does work, the blessing will overwhelm you and you'll drown. Like, I'll just give like a context for anybody who doesn't know scripture. There's a story in the Bible about a man called Peter when he first encountered Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ told Peter he was fishing all night. He had a net. He literally was washing his nets. He wanted to give up. And Jesus came now and said to him, cast your net onto the right side. So Jesus told him, this is where the money is. This is where the fish is. Cast your net onto the right side. And the scripture actually says that when he casted his net onto the right side, the scripture says that the fish was so much, he couldn't contain it, that the boat began to sink. And literally, if Peter wasn't able to call on other people, he had to call on other people to help him, the boat would have gone down. So what does that mean? It means he prayed for something he didn't prepare for. And literally what had happened is that if he didn't have people who were able to help him, he would have sank. And there's a lot of people who are praying something, they don't have a system to hold it. They don't have a system to contain it. So you're saying that you want to be able to scale to 6 figures. Okay, what does that even look like? What does that look like per month? Because I always say there's a difference between 100K and 900K. There's a huge difference between those 6 figures.
True.
So you need to know, what type of 6 figures are you tapping into? Are you tapping into before the 500,000 or after 500,000? That's one thing. Then number 2 is, okay, what team members do you need, or what people do you need around you to help you scale and sustain it? That's another thing. Then number 3 is, okay, what does it actually look like in terms of recurring revenue? What does it actually look like in terms of, scaling? What does it look like in terms of investing into yourself as well? Like, one of the most important things you should do and you should know is invest into yourself. Like, what does it look like in terms of rest? What does it look like in terms of, the people who are going to charge you, in terms of like building you up? What does it look like in terms of inspiration? Where do you need to go once a year to inspire you to vision, like vision again. Like, yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. But I like what you said. So in terms of building kingdom wealth, the power of your circles, you explained that, the power of your vision, the power of your tongue.
Yes.
What was that?
Something I'm very big on is speaking is spiritual. Speaking is so spiritual. There's actually an experiment that happened in Japan. I can't remember the name of the person who had done this experiment, but what had happened is that basically he had actually had water, and he spoke into the water very angry things, and he was like, "You're so the water, you are ugly," or whatnot. He just said very weird things into the water. Then he had another cup of water, and he said, "Water, you're beautiful. I love you." Very beautiful things. And then he basically froze both of the waters. And one of the jars that had the water where he spoke a lot of like negative words into it, the crystals were basically very like spiky, very ugly, like breaking apart. And the one where he spoke a lot of love into it, the crystals were actually like crystals. They were actually like very beautiful, like diamonds. They were basically very beautiful. So that's one experiment. Another experiment that people can actually try at home is there was actually a group of school children. There's a lot of schools that have done this before. And there was 2 plants. So they had the same like water, same sun, but one plant they spoke a lot of death over, told the plant it's ugly, plant won't ever grow, plant won't ever become anything. And then the second plant, they said, plant, you're beautiful, you're going to blossom, you're going to do everything. They watered it the same, had the same sunlight, had the same oxygen, but the plant that they spoke death over died way quicker than the plant they spoke life over. And one of the most powerful things you have is your tongue. I always say that I did not just arrive here. I honestly believe that I spoke a lot of the things that I'm walking in. At the age of 15, I literally had a map on my wall, and I came and decreed and I declared that, Hayley, these nations will open up to you. And I kid you not, every single nation I've said, God, I want to speak in. Every single nation I have decreed and said, this nation will open up for me, is nations that I've spoken in multiple times. So actually, when I came in Dubai in 2023, in 2024, when I got my residency, one of my friends from school reminded me that when I was 16 years old, I said I wanted to speak in Dubai. When I was 16.
16? What did you know about Dubai when you were 16?
Because I came to Dubai in 2012
Really?
when it was building. Yes, yeah. Because being from Uganda, Emirates would stop over in Dubai. So we had like a 2-day layover, me and my mum. And I saw Dubai, and I don't know why, but from when I was young, I was really inspired by it. Like, I just think I saw potential. I don't know if it was like premonition or like just having the gift of like being able to see things, but I just felt like I connected with the land. I feel like I really do believe we're spiritual beings. I really do. I really do believe that you'll go to a place and you'll just know that this is it. So that's what happened to me when I was basically in my younger years. I came to Dubai, I was like, there's something about this land that I really want to tap into. And I told my friends in year 11, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to speak in Dubai. And they reminded me when I came back in 2024, when I got my residency, they were like, Hayley, you're crazy, bro. Like, you were saying this stuff when we was in school. Like, and also another thing as well, if you follow me on social media, there's videos of me from when I was 15 years old. I've documented my whole journey. I feel like from the very beginning, I said, I'm going to document my whole journey. And if I blow, I blow. If I don't, I don't. But at least I'm going to have a documentary of basically my journey. And by the grace of God, I'm doing a documentary in a short film next year. And I'm able to basically put the amount of footage I have from 2013, Lámidé, up until now, me going to Microsoft, me securing my first speaking engagement here in Dubai, me getting my first governmental contract. Like, we're going to vlog that. That's literally starting from next week. Like, I have footage for years. I have footage even from when I was a child. I have a footage from when I was 13. I have so much footage. I have footage of when I ran for Young Mayor of Newham. So I ran for Young Mayor of Newham when I was 15. I have footage from then. Like, there is so much footage that I have because I had vision. I had vision. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I said to myself, Hayley, you don't have a choice but to blow. And that sometimes you need to have that determination. I feel like some people have so many options. I didn't have any other option. Like, I was like, Hayley, if you want to be like the top, you basically have to lock in on this vision from young, and you've got to be consistent with it. Yes, there's been things that I've dabbled into, like, okay, I've got dabbled into a bit of business. I've done a bit of music management. I've done a bit of rapping. Like, I've diverted into different things because I was young and I just wanted to do different things. But the one thing, if you look at Hayley Mulenda record consistently, the thing that I have been doing for 10 years that nobody can ever say this girl doesn't do it well is speaking. You can literally go into my YouTube, you can go to my LinkedIn, you can go to my Instagram, you can go and just Google my name. The one thing you'll see consistently, this girl has been speaking. And for anybody who wants to get into speaking or anybody who wants to get into, I don't know, podcasts and whatnot, guys, people won't book you if you're not doing it. Like there's people who are like, oh, I want to speak. But are you speaking? Are you doing Instagram stories? Are you doing content? Are you doing podcasting? Like speakers get booked because they speak. And that was the thing that I had learned very early on. Hayley, if you want to get booked for it, you must be doing it. And I just tapped into that from the age of 15. And now being 28, 12 years later, I've had the opportunity to travel around the world, move to Dubai, just because I was consistent in the one thing for 12 years. And I think that's a discipline. It's a lost art. I think there's people who want to do many different things and stuff like that. Like even for you, one of the things that I'll respect you for is the fact that you've been consistent in the area of finance for years. Like finance is basically what you are known for. You've been consistent with documenting finance, wealth. That's been your strategy from when I first met you when I was like 18 years old. There's a consistency, there's a theme with that consistency. And I think there's a lot of people who are trying to divert in terms of what do I want to be known for? No, the truth is you'll get booked with what you're associated with.
Yep.
Like, make sure you know what you want to be associated with. I want to be associated with speaking, period. So even my first book that's coming, my first published book that's coming out in terms of 2026, what's the name? Speak Up. It's about speaking. It's about how to get paid from speaking. It's about how to build your influence, how to build your platform, how to build the impact. Who are the people who are endorsing me? Speakers. I have Eric Thomas, who is the highest paid Black speaker in the world. I have Vicky TV, who is literally the youngest doctorate from University of Bradford. She works for the United Nations. Like, I got people who are actually getting paid to use their voice. I have my friend Laurel Castleman, who's been able to build a £4 billion company literally off affiliate marketing, but she's a speaker. You know, she's a Wall Street Journal, a best-selling book person. So like just having even the people who endorsed me, the people who are in the book, speakers. Like I allowed myself to associate myself with them for years. And, you know, I'm very big on like, find that one thing and double down on it. And don't give yourself an option of failure. I know it sounds a bit like, failure is inevitable. No, making mistakes is inevitable. Failure is a choice. Making mistakes is inevitable. I've made a lot of mistakes. Guys, I've been dragged online because I've said something and made a mistake. Maybe I made a mistake, guys. Come on, you guys just drag me. People just drag me sometimes. They'll be like, oh, this girl, she just talked about that. Guys, I make a mistake. But one thing you never say, this girl failed. No. That's not an option for me. I'll make mistakes, yes, because I'm a human being. Sometimes, hope guys, don't drag me on this podcast. Please. Give me grace. Some people, they come and... Generally, I have some people that will go and find clips and be like, yeah, let's get her. Please don't get me anymore. I'm tired.
Oh my God. Okay. So we know you have your book Speak Up coming out, which is going to be available for pre-order. So we're going to get a bit more into that.
Yes.
But before we get into that, I do want to ask you something. You're talking about like sticking at something for time, right? Doing something over and over again, becoming associated and being known for something. Another of our guests called it like, if you want to build wealth, the first thing that you need to do is become world-class at something.
Yes.
Like oftentimes people are trying to, how do I diversify? How do I invest in this? But he was like, first of all, you need the income. And to get a good level of income, you need to become world-class at that thing so you can have the income to then start making money from that income. But if you don't become world-class at something, no one's going to give you the money anyways. Yeah. So definitely agree with that. But sometimes when you're like building wealth or you're going through the process, you're starting a business, you're working on yourself, there are periods in life where it can feel like maybe you're just kind of grinding, you're just planting the seeds, but you might not necessarily feel like you're seeing a result, right? So even with the dilemmas that we get from people, a lot of people feel like they're working, but they don't feel like they're seeing the result. Or they might feel like God is absent or like they're not hearing from God, but they're doing the work. What would you say to someone who is currently in that season of their life? And have you ever been in that season of your life when you're like, you know, building out your wealth, building out your income, building out your career, your business?
Yeah, I definitely would say sometimes people are waiting, but a lot of people are waiting on God, but sometimes God is waiting on you. And sometimes one thing that I've learned about God is not going to give you the table, but he'll give you the wood and he'll give you the hammer. And a lot of people are not, as I said, they're not willing to do the work. So I think back to my early speaking days and being a young Black speaker from East London, I spoke with a lot of slang. There was a lot of rooms that did not want to hear me speak. So there's two things that I did. So I started running my own masterclasses. So I worked. So there was early on in my career, I worked as I worked in a camp counselor. I went to New York for 3 months. I went as a camp counselor to learn how to impact and speak to Americans. Like, get jobs that will refine you in the places that you want to go to. Like, if you're somebody who wants to speak with students, go work in a school. Go work in a school. Go and learn along the way. Go and do jobs that are going to refine you. You might as well get paid and also learn to be better at something that you want to do, right? Because there's a vision, right? There's an end goal. So I always knew that I wanted to speak. I knew that I wanted to originally speak internationally. So when I was 18 years old, when I was 19 years old, I went to America for 3 months and I basically was a camp counselor. And I moved to America for 3 months and I was with kids every single day. I was with teenagers every single day for 3 months, learning how to impact young people in America. I had never been to America before that. But now I've gone to America multiple times a year, impacting, speaking to young people, speaking to corporations. But I learned how to speak to Americans when I was 19 years old. I put myself in a job. So don't be afraid of the GOB word. The G-O-B, God, J-O-B. Don't be afraid of the J-O-B world. In a world that is hyper entrepreneurship, in a world that's very much, no, you need to work for yourself and you need to be free. No, learn how to be free first. Learn on the way, learn on the journey. So I definitely would say, get a J-O-B until your freedom matches your J-O-B. That's when you leave. So I got to a place where I stacked. I worked different jobs. I was even a hotel receptionist. You think me, I wanted to do a hotel receptionist? I didn't want to check in people. But I was actually a hotel receptionist in the evening at one point. And when it was quiet, I'd read books. Like, I'd always still be training. But at the same time, I used some of that money. What did I use some of that money for? To get a camera, create content. So I think it's also about, where are you actually investing that money into? And also, I used to stack and save a lot of money for mentorship. So I was going to see Eric Thomas at 20 years old. I was going to America. I was going to America to go to his masterminds. I would get the lowest level ticket. I wasn't trying to get the VIP ticket. I just wanted to be in the room. And the amazing thing is that he's a forward for my book 8 years later, and I'm very big on, one of the things that I think a lot of people do, as I said, is they're allowing themselves to be discouraged because things are not working out. Guys, can I just tell you, process builds character. Process builds grit. There's a level of grit that you need when you hit 7 figures that I'm grateful that I established when I was 18 years old. There's a level of grit. There's a level of work ethic. One of the things that we had a conversation about was in your younger years when you used to go to church. And I remember you were saying that you was going to church at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, you said that attribute and that like skill and that habit basically sustained you up until now. Because now it's easy for you to get up early, because from when you was a teenager, you was getting up early. That's the same thing with me. When I was 18 years old, some of the schools I was speaking at, I had to be there 9 o'clock in the morning, but it was a 2-hour journey. So I was getting on a 5 a.m. tube. So I had to learn how to get up early. I had to learn how to travel. I had to learn basically all these attributes that sustained me now that I've moved to Dubai and now I'm scaling beyond 7 figures. And one of the things, going back to what I was saying, when I was basically saying that sometimes God will not give you the table and the hammer. As I said, when I'm in my early years of speaking, no one was trying to hear me speak. Nobody was trying to hear me speak. So I was doing my own master classes and I was filming myself and I was basically my own speaker. I literally I got to a point where I stopped being emotional about the lack of opportunity I was getting. I think a lot of people are too emotional when things don't work. I say have emotions, but do not be emotional. Like, don't take it personal if certain people are not booking you. Don't even take it personal if certain people don't like you, because I'm very big on the scripture that says in Psalms 23 verse 5 that he will anoint you in the presence of your enemies. Guys, if you want to be blessed, you have to understand the territory is your enemies will watch you. Like, God sometimes will raise up the enemies first before he raises up the blessing. And I never took it personal that not everybody likes me. Like, not everybody likes Gordon Ramsay. But guess what? He's one of the book chefs in the world. Not everybody likes Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that I like Donald Trump before everybody get political. Do you like Donald Trump? No, please don't worry about what I like and what I don't like. But I'm not saying that.
Y'all not finna drag me today.
But the truth is, the guy is still president. The truth is that there's some people who you would dislike heavily, but they're still going to be in the places that you can hate on them, but you will hate on them to the place. There's a lot of people who I don't agree with. I don't agree with Andrew Tate. But guess what, guys? He will get millions of views. Why? Because of the fact that he's consistent with his podcasting. The guy's consistent with sharing whatever he wants to share. I don't agree with it, but you have to respect sometimes the work ethic. And the crazy thing is that evil people will, there's something that I one time was understanding and learning, is that there's Winston Churchill said something, and he said that evil prevails because righteous people don't stand up. And one of the things that I really do believe is that evil people won't overthink their evil ideas, but righteous people will. They will allow imposter syndrome, the overthinking. Guys, like you will overthink basically this idea that God has given you. You overthink it. No, sometimes you need to just run before thinking. That's my issue. My issue is I run before thinking. And sometimes my issue is I speak before thinking. That's why sometimes I end up getting in trouble. But do you know what? That's been my greatest attribute at the same time as well.
It's an action bias.
It's literally, I'm just like, oh, what? Okay. Like I'm planning a launch and I'm thinking about all these things. Someone's asked me what the budget is. I think, don't worry. I'm the type of person, I don't worry about budget. I'm like, this is what I want to do. The budget will follow me later. That's the way that I think. But my husband is the complete opposite. He's very much kind of like, no. What airline are we taking? How are you getting there? How much money are you going to make? And this is why it's so important to have people around you who basically feed your weaknesses. Like the people who basically will cover the weak spots. I know that's one of my weak spots. That's why I'm so grateful to do business with my husband. He's a strategist. I'm not a strategist. I'm a runner. I just will run. And, you know, sorry, I need to keep going back to what I was saying in terms of the workshop, and I'll end it here. I was doing masterclasses because of the fact that nobody was booking me. So I was booking myself and I was filming myself, and then I was putting out here saying, I just done another speaking engagement. Guys, I booked myself for that speaking engagement.
Period.
I booked myself for that speaking engagement.
You were still a speaker, was you not?
Pardon?
I said you were still a speaker, was you
not?
not?
You were still a speaker, exactly. Even when I did my first international talk, my mum was going to Uganda for my grandma's 80th. She said, Hayley, I'll pay for your ticket. I said, great. I emailed over 15 schools in Uganda. I said, hi, I'm coming to do an international tour. Let me come into... My cousin was my driver. My cousin was also my videographer. I didn't have money. I was 18 years old. And then I was reaching out to different TV stations. I ended up speaking in 6 different international schools. Wow. I ended up doing 4 different interviews just because I leveraged an opportunity that was presented to me. I really don't believe in luck. I believe luck, or should I say breakthrough, is when preparation meets opportunity. What opportunities do you have? Do you have people around you who need hosts? Do you have people around you who need speakers? Do you have people around you who are podcasters that are looking for interviews? Go and do that interview. Go and chop up the clip, put it on your social media and let the opportunity speak for you. So I'm very big on, you know, as I said, like it's either excuses or execution. I'm very like, people call me alpha female. I'm very much kind of like very bullish. Like I just don't believe in the excuses thing. And I really just hate the idea of the fact that there's many people who, as I said, they're too emotional, man. Like you can't be successful and emotional. You have to pick one. You cannot be successful and emotional, because I promise you will have 100 people that will tell you no. I emailed 200 schools when I was 16 years old. I emailed 200 schools, Lámidé. The only school that got back to me was my own secondary school. They felt sorry for me. That was the only school that booked me. My own secondary school. My own secondary school. And guess what? I still went there, filmed it, continued to edit it, put that content out. And then another school actually saw me and they booked me. And it was, I always say, I didn't get here, you know, by chance. I got here brick by brick. Brick by brick. And some of the bricks broke. And I didn't cry about it. I just came and said, oh, that's sad. And I moved on.
What I'm hearing from, like, I love that response. And what I'm hearing from it is that sometimes you're in, like, you know, quiet seasons or whatever, because you haven't taken any action for there to be noise for you to hear. Because a lot of Christians just think, I'm just going to pray. I'm going to pray for my breakthrough. I'm going to pray for, my mom loves saying this. She's going to pray for, I don't know how to say it in English, but like some random person just going to come up and bless me. I'm just going to receive favor. And it's like, great. But you also have to put some work in as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I absolutely love that. So what would you say? You know, there are times in life where we know, you know, you might be known that you're called to something and you kind of maybe know what your purpose on earth is, but you still choose to act in a way that doesn't align with that. If you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you would like to become an international property investor in Dubai or in the UK, the link to book a free consultation will be in the description box below. If you're not quite ready to invest yet, check out the affordable video courses that will also be linked in the description box below. And if you would like to relocate to Dubai, set up your business in Dubai, or anything else related to relocating to Dubai, check out www.theprofessionalnetwork.com. What advice would you give to someone who's struggling to act in alignment with what they know they're being called to do?
That's good. That's good. I definitely say, you know, alignment is down to, as I said, vision. Like what, and I think a lot of people, they know they know what they want, but what do you want in terms of your lifestyle? So one of the things I actually said from a very young age is I wanted freedom. I wanted freedom. I wanted to basically, if I want to go to Dubai, I'll go to Dubai. If I need to go to Africa, I'll go to Africa. I travel a lot and I need to have money that would allow me to travel. So I didn't come and build wealth so that I can come say 7-figure entrepreneur, blah, 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 blah. No, I built my wealth so that I could have freedom to travel. And also I have a ministry. So in terms of the ministry, it's never going to be me that says, oh, I can't do an event that God has called me to do because I don't have money. No, I have money to sponsor my own ministry. For the past year, I've been a person sponsoring my own ministry. So but I always said, I want to have freedom to do the things that God has called me to do. So I said it from very young. Okay, what does freedom look like? What does freedom look like for me financially? So I need this amount of money coming in every single month for me to have freedom to travel at least 2 times a month, or being able to do this and to do that. So I'm very big on, like, even something I'm very transparent about. You know, I very much said that, God, when I get married, because my first year of marriage was very hard for us financially, I said, God, when I get out of this place, I can never go back. And I need to be making sure that I have soft wife life. I said it to my husband, when we moved to Dubai, I'm having a soft wife life. I don't cook and I don't clean.
Period.
I don't cook and I don't clean. We have somebody that comes and drops us food every single day. And then also I have a cleaner. That was my non-negotiable. My husband loves my cooking, so sometimes I'll just whip it up for him just once a month, just to remind him that you girls still got it, but you girls can still cook. But I basically got rid of, I don't want to say low-value tasks. I got rid of tasks that basically would take my time, and with using that time, because of the fact that I have somebody who brings me food and cooks for me, I now can use that time basically to lock in on strategy and lock in on scalability. That can allow me to have freedom. So as I said, freedom for me looked like having a cooker, having somebody who cooks for me, Freedom looked like for having a cleaner. What does that cost me? So I think being able to count the cost of your freedom. And I think when you know what you want, you will align yourself with the things that basically will allow you to have what you want. So something I'm very big on is this, right? As I said, I knew what I wanted. So I understood that, Hayley, you can't be going out as much anymore, because this is basically what the vision is. If you want to have a cooker and a cleaner, this is what it's going to cost you. So you can't be going out to Hakkasan. You can't be going out to different places. Can I be honest with you guys? The first time I went to Hakkasan, somebody else paid for it. I said to myself, I'm not paying that type of bill. Somebody's going to pay for it. Like, you have to understand there's a level of sacrifice. When I was 16 years old or 17 years old, a lot of my friends were doing their 18th birthdays. I wasn't going to the 18th birthdays. I was going to webinars. I was going to masterminds. I was going to events. I was going to Parliament. I was going to networking events at the age of 18, because I knew that I could meet somebody who can mentor me. Or I can meet somebody who can impact me. So alignment, as I said, is knowing what you want. And then also, number 2, what I emphasized on, the circle element. Like, I promise you guys, purpose chasers surround themselves with purpose chasers. Like, don't surround yourself with bums. I know that might sound rude, but don't surround yourself with people who are always complaining. Don't surround yourself with people who are always showing you basically what's not working. Like, surround yourself with people who are actually going to, the best I can say is make the baby inside you leap. Like, there's some conversations I have with someone and they're like, oh man, you make me want to, those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people who are assets and chargers, because the alignment piece is also about the people who are around you. I'm very big on, don't allow people to talk you out of your destiny. Because if you're not careful, you will have someone that will talk you out of the will of God. They will tell you, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't. No. Be around people who are going to keep you grounded, but also show you the possibility. Like, you can be around people who show you limitations, or you can be around people who can show you possibility. I'm that type of person. I want to be around people who will show me the possibility. Don't show me how hard it is. Show me that it can be done, and then talk to me about how hard it is after. First, show me it can be done, and then we can talk about the process after. Surround yourself with people who are really trying to get somewhere in life. Because the truth is, there's many people who don't know what they want in their life. And if you're surrounding yourself with 5 lost people, you'll be the 6th one. You'll be the 6th person. So surround yourself with people who literally are trying to go somewhere, and be okay with the fact that, and the truth is as well, if you're around people who want to go somewhere, even if you don't know where you're going, you'll pick up the language. You know, and I really do believe that, you know, a car that is moving is easier to steer than a car that's stagnant.
Thanks.
Like, at least just be trying to be doing something. And I'll say the last thing as well in terms of the alignment piece is, I want you to understand that purpose can sometimes be an idol. I don't believe that purpose is a destination. I think purpose is a journey, because you're evolving. You're not gonna, basically the person that I was last year is very different to the person I am now. You're gonna have different vision. You're gonna have different desires. There was a time when I was rapping, guys. There was a time when I was actually a rapper. I don't rap anymore. Like, and I enjoyed it. And you know what the crazy thing is? I connected with people in the music industry who I'm now really close with that have actually booked me clients before as a speaker. I've done speaking engagements because of the fact that I was in the music industry. And I'm a music manager on the side as well. And even some of the people who have booked my artists, they have booked me to come and preach in their churches because she's a gospel artist. So even just some of the things that you do, they can actually open up other doors. So I'm very big on like, try different things. Like, don't be afraid to try different things out. Don't be afraid to fail. Like, as I said, make mistakes. I do believe that failure is not a person. I don't believe in failing. I believe in making mistakes though. Learn quick from your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you're somebody that's afraid to make mistakes, the best I can say is you won't reach success because there's a lot of mistakes you'll make. There's a lot of scars that are like behind it. So I definitely say that alignment piece is, be careful, be content with the fact that you're going to make mistakes. Be content with the fact that you're going to evolve. Be content with the fact that what may have made you happy 10 years ago, 5 years ago, may not be the thing that makes you happy today. And be okay with that. Like, be okay with the fact that you're not going to know it all. Be okay with the fact that some of the decisions you're going to make now, 10 years later, you might regret it.
Yeah.
But just be happy at least you tried.
Yeah.
That's what alignment is. Be happy with the journey. Like, don't focus on destination, focus on the journey, on what you're learning and who you're becoming on the journey as well.
Do you know a book that I think will really deal with someone who is acting in misalignment, where you say you want one thing for your life, but you're actually doing the opposite? Proverbs.
Yes,
so
Proverbs.
You're currently doing like a Proverbs challenge. Thing. Yes. But I've been tapping in, here and there, and that it will literally say the fool does this, the wise does this, the one does this. And so if you're dealing with misalignment, that is the book that you need to read, because that book will read you to filth. To read you to filth if you are not like acting in what you say you want. It's such a good book. I don't know if you want to add anything on that.
The book of Proverbs is so great. The book of Proverbs will make you, as I said, it will make you check your tongue. Like, I really am very big on like, don't speak what is, speak what you want. Like, I'm very big on speaking into existence. I'm very big on the power of the tongue. I'm very big on the Bible saying life and death is in the power of the tongue. And don't speak. There's something that I'm very big on. Don't speak because that's your reality. Speak until it is your reality. Like, speak your way there. Like, even if your circumstance does not look like it, like, speak. The Bible talks about, the book of Proverbs actually talks about being around good company. It talks about diligence. The scripture said, this is one of my favorite scriptures, one of my favorite Proverbs. Those who are diligent in their work shall stand before kings and not mere men. Like, it's one of my favorite scriptures. Be diligent in your work. Like, understand there's a level of excellence before you could even go to the palace. The scripture even said that Daniel had to study 3 years before he could even serve the king. Like, there's a level of studying you have before you have accessibility. That's why I say, don't be entitled, be committed first. People are entitled before they're committed. Please be committed. And the last thing in terms of Proverbs as well, surround yourself with people who are actually going to be mirrors for you. Like, don't surround yourself with people who are going to be your I hate flattery. Don't be around people who are going to flatter you and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you all the time, because you get complacent. Be around people who are going to tell you, no, you ain't doing enough.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And on that, you've spoken a lot about like your circle and speaking to people. One of the things, so we both did an event. Hayley was a keynote speaker and I was a panelist on an event on Saturday. Hayley came to whisper to me, you know what? You know that 444 challenge that you're doing, yeah? I'm going to speak to 4 people every single week. I said, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I had my first one already. I had my first one already with... So what she said was that she was going to speak to, for I guess till the end of the year, one person in our network already or something like that who is basically at a level that we want to be at and just have kind of like a mentoring session, a conversation. And I've been doing that. And that's the power of just having, and why did you come to me to whisper that? It was so random because they were literally talking. She's like, do you know what I'm doing? I was like, okay, cool. Let me do that as well. But I think that's the power of circle. But let's speak about Speak Up. So you have this book coming out.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Listen, I just want to see, going back to, again, in terms of speaking is spiritual, one of the things that I said at 2024 is I said, God, I need a book deal. And I spoke it every single week. My husband's a witness of my craziness. I literally be going around, I'm going to have a book deal. Yeah, my book deal is going to be great. Yeah, my book deal. This time last year was actually when a publishing house reached out to me and said, we want to give you a book deal. Had no agent. I'm the person that negotiated my own contract. I'm the person that negotiated my own deal. Yeah. And literally, the way that it happened, it was like, whoa, man, the power of the tongue. It's like, this was on my vision board. This is something that I spoke into my life and I decreed it and declared it. And I'm very happy with the book deal I got. Like I have amazing publishers. The fact that they've been working, they're so proactive. They've been so patient with me. They've been so helpful. Like, yeah, I just want to say that, like, listen, guard your tongue. Make sure that you're speaking what you want to see into your life. So yeah, Speak Up is basically a book that's basically teaching you how to use your voice, how to basically inspire, how to influence, and how to earn. So the earning part is very important. The reason why I say this is that I have one voice, but I have 8 different incomes from my one voice. And I think a lot of people don't actually know how to diversify their voice. So you don't actually have to be a keynote speaker to actually get paid from speaking. You are getting paid from podcasting. Like there's other ways you can tap into your voice, content creation, courses. I made a lot of money through courses. There is basically brand partnerships. There is
coaching, mentoring,
MCing. There's so many different ways that you can get into speaking, consulting. There's just so many board advisory work. There's just so many advocacy work. There's so many things that I can tap into. And I find that there's a lot of people who, when you tell them, oh yeah, do you want to get into public speaking? They're kind of like, I don't want to be a motivational speaker. And I'm kind of like, that is so limiting. Like that is so limited. As I said, I've been able to tap into 8 different incomes just off my voice. I spoke about a training contract. Yes, it's speaking. It's not keynote speaking though. I'm doing training, I'm doing workshops. And also with the amazing thing about speaking as well is that sometimes you can actually run different things and you don't actually have to be the person to speak. So because my brand is on it, I actually have other facilitators that will go in and facilitate for me. And I'm not the person even doing it. I'm just getting paid because my name is slapped on it. So even in terms of negotiation, like, you know, this being the middleman. So there's been deals that I've been able to bring, just been able to connect some people and just be like, oh yeah, you need to do this. And then I just come and say, yeah, give me a 10% referral fee. And I've been able to make passive income just by connecting 2 people. So this is basically one of the things that the book teaches you. It's basically teaching you, as I said, how to tap into different incomes through your voice, learning how to network as well. I've been able to build a global network. I've been able to build a network that is worth billions just because of the fact that I know how to have conversation and sustain relationship. How do you build a network? How do you leverage your network? Because a lot of people they'll come and say, oh, I have this person's number. No. Me, I don't care whose number you've got. The question is, do they pick up the phone? Because you can be talking about how I've got WizKid's number. No, when you call WizKid, does he pick up? That's how you know you've got a strong network. The question is, can you work your network and can you really leverage your network to tap into particular things? That is another important thing that I teach in the book as well. I also teach the importance of really being a voice and having something you stand for. I feel like there's a lot of people who like, they don't know what they stand for. Like, have something you stand for. Like, I love your voice and what your message is. You want to help people build wealth without borders. That's your voice. That's your message. That is a message that's going to outlive you. That is a message that is going to impact people. Basically, to someone's grandchildren is going to benefit from your voice. Like, because there's going to be somebody that is going to now build, I don't know, assets in a different country that someone's great grandchildren is going to benefit from. Like, that is what you want to do. You want to have a message that will outlive you. That literally, you want to also have a message that will be your passport before you enter in. Like, there's some rooms that I will never actually physically step into, but someone's advocating my work in a room that I don't know about. There's been so many different rooms. Even this morning, I came across somebody who I just loved her content. I was like, oh my gosh, who is this girl? I went onto her profile. She has nearly 1 million followers. And I saw that she was following me. I said, follow back. I followed her back. I just came and said, yo, your content is fire. She voiced me. She goes, Hayley, I love you. Like, you are amazing. You inspire me to speak. You did it. And I was just kind of like, wow, I didn't even know that my name is in certain rooms, because obviously I'm not watching the crowd. I'm watching the mission. So really being able to get you to lock in your mission. And the last thing as well is, how do you influence? One of the things I'm very big on, and I would say that speaking is the only skill that can do this. Speaking is the only skill that can command you to increase your income, your influence, and your impact. It's the only skill in the world. Like, being able to inspire, impact, and earn can only really come through your voice. You can see it in terms of music. You can see it in terms of acting. You can see it in terms of entertainment. You can see it in terms of inspirational speaking. There was a guy that I was watching online, and he basically said that in terms of what you can earn in terms of like speaking, coaching, is what a truck driver can basically earn doing a 16-hour drive. Like, isn't that crazy that someone can do 16 hours of their time? But because of your knowledge and your expertise, you can actually charge that in 45 minutes and you'll get even more than somebody who has done 16 hours worth of work. And I have never shied away from, how much money I've made from speaking. There's been times that I've been making someone's yearly salary in a 30-minute keynote, virtually. Like, there is real money in terms of the speaking game, but you have to understand that there's particular skills you have to develop along the way, attributes you have to develop, but also vision along the way and a work ethic. I already said it time and time again. Listen, I started at the age of 15. I'm 28 now. I'm financially free. I love that I'm being able to scale and build internationally. But, my mentor is an 8-figure speaker. So now where I've just literally just about scraped in terms of making 7 figures over the past 12 years, I'm now with people who are making 8 figures in a year, sis. From their voice. And they've got different assets. And I remember one of the conversations you even had with me, and you said, Hayley, you need to start getting into assets now. You need to start basically building another stream of income. And I was just like, yeah, you're right. And that is off the back of my voice, off a conversation. And that visibility allows me to be in certain rooms that, if I'm being honest, money can never buy. One of the things I'm very big on is favor. One thing I'm always praying for is, God, give me favor to get into the rooms that money can't buy. There's some rooms and conversations that money can't give you access to. It's only going to be visibility and favor. That there's some people who want to help me, not because of the fact that they want anything from me, but they just respect just what I'm on and what I'm doing. And that's basically what the book is really about. It's basically allowing you to build up being a staple name, how you build up your brand, how you build your mission, find your mission, make sure you're dedicated to the mission, make sure you build a legacy. But most importantly, how can you earn from the skill, the voice, and, speaking up, man. And I'm very big on, the reason why I say speaking up is realistically, if you want your life to change, you have to be able to speak up for it. You can't be somebody that settles. I always say that you don't get the life that you want, you get the life you settled for. That's the honest truth. You get the life you settled for. And at the age of 15, I don't know what it is in me. Sometimes I look back to videos of me when I was 15. I was like, what the hell was this girl on? But I'm very, very happy that my 15-year-old self did not settle for the bare minimum in life. Because I have friends and I have people who I love deeply who are now in their late 20s and even their early 30s. And they basically regret that they didn't take life seriously younger. They didn't actually have people who encourage them to take life with 2 hands. And I'm very grateful that at a very young age, I was able to get somebody to help me grab life with 2 hands. I had mentors who were way older than me. I had people that were way older than me. And I basically talk about some of the things I learned from my mentors, from Eric Thomas to Action Jackson to just V Kativu, people who are really killing it. I've got what they have been able to tap into. I put it in so that people can know, please don't let life just happen to you, because you will settle. And as I said, you don't get the life you want, you get the life you settled for.
That's amazing. So guys, I will leave the link to pre-order the book down below. And if you, maybe not bang this. I will leave the link to pre-order the book in the description box. And if you're going to get one for yourself, you might as well get one for a friend. Maybe your friendship group. You can be the person in the circle that's changing things for people. So definitely go and pre-order the book and get some for your friends as well. So we are going to be moving on to the Wealth Voice segment of the podcast. This is where the listeners send in a dilemma and they want your advice.
Yes.
So guys, please do send in your dilemmas. I always want to have a good enough range so that I can choose the one that kind of fits the guest that we have. So this dilemma, I'll read it to you first, but don't worry too much about the technical side of things, right? Okay, so this person says, I'm moving to Dubai with my family, husband and 2 kids. We have 100K in savings, no property in the UK. Do we invest in property in Dubai or rent for a year in case we don't like it enough to stay? We have 2 kids under the age of 10 and want to live in a villa community. Any advice? ! Now, what I wanted to get your perspective on is moving to Dubai, because she said something key here is in case we don't like it, right? And I know that at some point this year you were thinking, okay, was this the right move or not? So yeah, I would love to get your opinion on, that, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's really about the vision that you have. Are you looking at it in terms of property, in terms of house or rental, right? So that's the first thing as well, because if you don't like it, you can always rent out your property. So that's another thing that you need to understand about investments. I personally am not necessarily against buying in terms of when it comes to the long-term plan, because you can always make a long-term plan out of basically a decision when you leave anyway. But the one thing I definitely would say about Dubai, especially when she's got kids, you have to consider as to what type of education system you want your kids to grow up in. Because it's one thing in terms of like, hey, if you don't like it, but what about the vision for your children? Because I personally don't like the idea of the fact that you move your children around a lot, especially in the young years when they're developing and, you know, building relationships and building education. So I'm definitely big on, I don't think it should be down to whether you're going to like it or not. I think it's about the stability of your family. Like, what does that look like in terms of your children? I think Dubai is great if you have a plan. I don't think that this is a place where you should come on vibes. I think there's a lot of people who are trying to find themselves in Dubai. Trust me, Dubai is a place where you can lose yourself if you don't know yourself. So I'm very big on, yes, the savings, but know what you want. What do you want from Dubai? I think a lot of people come here thinking that it's going to be greener pastures. I think you can go anywhere and find greener pastures. Dubai is not a place where you can find yourself. I'm sorry if people are coming here and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I want to find myself. I want to find my purpose here. You will get so distracted here if you don't know who you are and know whose you are. So I'm very big on, listen, what does that 5-year plan look like? So even if you don't like it, what does it look like? And also, one of the things I really am big on is, I feel like a lot of people have plans on if something doesn't work. Have a plan for what if it does work. What if you love Dubai? What does that plan look like? Does it look like buying another property? Does it look like going into Airbnb? Does it look like starting something else? Like, what does that look like? What does it look like if your children love Dubai? Does it look like them going into school clubs? What schools? I just feel like a lot of people are very risk averse, which is good. But I want people to also be prosperity averse. Is that even a word? Where you are thinking about abundance and thinking about whether things are going to work out. So for the person who has 100K savings, I think have the plan for if it doesn't work out. Yes, great. But have the plan for what if it does. Like, have a plan for if you do come here and you love it. And if you do come here and your children love it. If your husband loves it, I think have a plan there. I personally would say, if you are to invest into a property, make sure you have the right person in your ear to give you the opportunities, to know where to invest as well. Dubai is a very big land. There's a lot of people moving towards Dubai South, which is now the go-to in terms of investments. Please make sure that the person who you are consulting when it comes to moving, yes, Lámidé definitely is one person that I would recommend, but I definitely would say, please make sure you are with somebody who knows Dubai. Don't just come here because 100K, listen, something that I've learned, especially now that I've tapped into higher figures, 100K can go very quickly, you know. 100K, I didn't know. 100K can go very quickly if you're not careful, especially in a place like Dubai. So if you have 100K savings, please make sure you have somebody on the ground that can give you wisdom on how to invest that money. Even if you want to rent, you can still leverage capital for different investments whilst you're here in Dubai as well. 100K can actually take you very far with the right wisdom, the right strategy. So even if you're not ready to invest just yet, just make sure you're partnering with the right voices. Make sure that I personally would also put the question here, not just for her, for anybody who wants to come to Dubai, scout the land first. I don't think you should just make the move first. I think come here, have the right connections, build relationship. I was coming here 2 years prior before I moved. And I think that allowed me to know exactly like where I want to live. I didn't just move to the area that I'm living in now. So I'm more towards Dubai South. But I went to Al Jadaf, Murdif. I was in Business Bay. I was in Al Barsha. I was in probably about 7 different places before I actually found the place I wanted to stay in. And I think it's very important to know like what type of, she said she wants a villa community. There's so many villa communities. I think it's important to know like what type of villa community do you want? Do you want a pool? Do you want a playground? Do you want a place where you can walk? Do you want a place where you can ride a bike? Like there's so many opportunities in Dubai, which I love. There's versatility, but know what you want. Before you move. I hope that answers her question.
I think that was a very, very good answer. You actually answered a lot more than I expected you to answer. But yeah, I think I can echo a lot of that. First of all, let's touch on the 100K. 100K, congratulations on saving that amount of money. That is definitely a lot of money. A lot of people will not get to that. I'm actually a little bit like, where is that? I hope that's not all in a bank account, because if you waited to save 100K, then you should not be having that amount just in your savings. I hope it's actually in investment accounts. However, when it comes to moving is so expensive that 100K, by the time you actually move, forget even buying, by the time you just relocate your family, you've got 2 kids and a husband, 30K of that could be gone.
Yeah.
40K, 50K of that could be gone already. So moving is really, really expensive. So if that's like all you have in your savings, I'd probably even wait a little bit, make the move first, and then like sort things out. Because I moved as a single person, no kids, no husband, whatever. That it was expensive.
Yeah, my move was expensive as well. For me and my husband, it was expensive. Just furnishing alone nearly cost us because we had an unfurnished place. Our furnishing was 5 figures just to furnish.
Yeah,
to furnish our place.
Yeah.
Just 5 figures.
Yeah. And also in Dubai, remember that a lot of the time you're paying rent either upfront or in 6 checks.
Oh, yes.
That also would mean that 30K could go like that. 20, I think my accommodation when I first moved to Dubai, I think it was like around 25K.
Yeah, I remember
gone just like that. As soon as you step in, that's gone. Then I got a furniture package. It was a little bit cheaper, and I actually did a collaboration, so it was a little bit cheaper. But that could be another 5 figures by the time you get your kids in school and uniform and stuff. So if you're planning to make a big move, you actually might want to reserve some of that for the property. Next is like, if you are trying to reserve some of that for the move. If you are trying to invest, like Hayley said, I don't really think that you should go out investing if you don't even really know what you're trying to do. Because even the fact that saying like we don't have property in the UK, we don't know if we should buy in Dubai, it doesn't sound like to me that this person has a strategy. Like, are you looking for investment properties, or are you looking for property for you and your family to live in? Because those are two very different things. 100K might go far if you're looking for an investment property in the UK, or even if you're looking for an investment property in Dubai. 100K is not going to go far if you're looking for somewhere to live with, you've got 2 kids, maybe you want a 3-bedroom villa community in Dubai. Like you're not going to be able to buy a villa with 100K. You definitely need some more. So I would say that a lot of people will come first and actually get to know different areas, because again, schools, do you know the school districts that your children are going to want to go to? You might want to spend some time in Dubai first before you then, especially if you're buying residential. If you're buying investment, then like you can go to, where's the new airport coming? Okay, the new airport's coming to Dubai, so let me get something. It can be that simple. But if you're actually looking for somewhere for your family to live, it's not that it's not going to be that straightforward. But why did you say that people get lost in Dubai? What makes you say that?
I think Dubai sometimes can be a very gold-plated city. I think a lot of people who can talk a big talk, but the question is like, are they really like about it? Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people here get very deceived just off what people can say. The truth is, in terms of like just move, people assume everybody who moves to Dubai is up because of the fact that, Dubai has been very much associated with opulence and wealth, but you have to have a lot of discernment here. You have to be able to discern who is right and who is almost right. That's what discernment is. Discernment is being able to discern who is actually really doing it and someone who is almost, someone who looks like they're doing it, but they don't actually have the fruit of it. And I nearly got, I don't know if I ever told you the story, like the first time I came here, I nearly got deceived of like 50K.
What do you mean? Like
somebody offered me to register my business here, me and my husband, and said that it'll be registered in the Sheikh's office. And they literally said, if you give me 50K, we'll register you to basically be associated with the royal family in the business. And obviously me and my...
Is this 50K dirhams or 50K
pounds? Pounds. Anyways, at the time I didn't have it, I was broke. So they were just like, yeah. They even said you can pay in crypto. That's like I said, these people. So yeah, and I'll never forget it. Like they were literally like, yeah, if you give us this money, we'll be able to put you in this room, that room. We can get you to speak in this place. They're promising a lot of stuff. But my discernment, I just remember something in my gut feeling. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then obviously the next year was actually when we registered our business, got our visas and stuff. And it was nowhere near as expensive as 50K.
Not 50K. Pounds.
But this is what happens when you move to a place without research and ignorance. I didn't have a strategy. So when I first came in 2023, I came as a visit. So I didn't have a strategy. So when someone came, and that's the thing is as well, if you don't have a strategy, people will feed off your ignorance. So this is why it's so important to know the land. Come here first, be able to do research, reach out to people who have already moved, reach out to people who are already on the ground, have a conversation with them, be able to understand, okay, what is working, what's making sense, what's not making sense. Because as I said, if you don't have discernment, if you don't have strategy, if you don't have clarity, you will end up easily being deceived. And I find that a lot of people, as I said, they come here to Dubai thinking that Dubai is going to be their big break, right? And it can be. I'm not saying that it can't be, by the way, but you need to know Wagwan. Like you need to know that there is the pros and the cons, and you have to weigh them up very, very carefully. Like what we just kind of spoken about in terms of the fact that, the move alone is very expensive. If you don't have that cash flow, please don't commit to a move that you don't have the money for. Because I know there's a lot of people who come here and they can basically spend everything thinking that they're gonna get their big breakthrough. This is gonna be their big break. And I've seen people move back. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people move back because it's not even that Dubai isn't what it seems to be. The truth is, a lot of people come here very deluded, and you need to face reality. Like, this is a place where there is no benefits. This is a place where there is no safety net. That if things don't work out, no one's going to come and save you. And you need to basically have that in mind. And people come here thinking, oh, well, if things don't work out, no. Like, it better work out.
Yeah. And I think what you said about like the not having the money, because if you don't have money in Dubai as well, there are so many other things that you can get swept up into to make money.
Yes.
That like, you don't want to be in a position where you're scrambling, because that's when people be getting caught up in things that they should not. Yeah, exactly. Because then you're moving from a place of desperation and you don't want to be in that position. And I even like what you said about people feeding off of your ignorance. That's why even when people come to me for consultations and they're like, oh, can you convince me of why I should invest in Dubai? I say, no, I'm not going to do that. If you're not already convinced that you want to invest in the land, I'm not going to be the one to come and change your mind. Come to me when you say, okay, I've done my research. I want to invest into Dubai. Where should I go? Because I'm not going to take advantage of the fact that, you know, I could say anything to you. You haven't done your own research. Yeah. Go and do your own research. And I think on the topic of just money in Dubai as well, I spoke to someone the other day. Obviously, because when you're coming to Dubai, you come with the mindset of, oh, I can save. There's no taxes, blah, 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 blah. I spoke to someone. She spent 120K in her first year living in Dubai. She said, I didn't save any more than I actually didn't even save. I left the UK thinking that I was going to save more, and I've actually spent more. That can happen in Dubai because there is so much going on here. There's always something to do. It's very easy to try to compete with people as well, because people here are flossing. So some people try to like match up to that, and they feel like they have to, you know, be on certain levels and stuff like that. So if you don't know yourself, I think like Hayley said, Dubai is a very tricky place. So not trying to put you off of it, because Dubai has changed my life for the better in so many different ways.
Same here.
And it's pushed me. And it's so, on that topic of this person that I was speaking to, she was also saying that she's considering, she moved, but she was kind of saying that the move wasn't for her. And she was saying that actually all of the ambition that she was surrounded with made her feel less than. And she was actually shrinking because she felt
she was
like,
here in Dubai.
Yeah. Wow. Like she was feeling like she was losing confidence in herself.
Wow.
So yeah, what do you think about that?
Do you know what? I'm very big on listen. The best I can say is whoever has access to your ear has access to your mind, and just make sure you have the right people speaking life into you when you come here. Like, find your tribe, find your Dubai. That's something I'm very big on. Find your Dubai. There's a Dubai for everybody. There's a Dubai in terms of if you want to retire, there's a Dubai for you. If you want to be getting lit every single day, there's a Dubai for you. Facts. If you want to have a quiet Christian life and you praise God and you go back home, there's a Dubai for you. Facts. If you want to be somebody that's a family person, be able to give your kids the experience to have a pool, so there's a Dubai for you. Find your Dubai and find that tribe within that Dubai.
I like that.
Because those people will be the ones that will anchor you in what you came here for. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't come here to be lit every single day. Like, I'm a woman of God. I'm not going to be in the clubs. You're not going to find me there. I'm going to have more or less a quiet life. If anything, Dubai is actually a place of rest for me. So because I travel, I have a very high intense life. Literally last month alone, I traveled 5 different times to 5 different countries. I went to 4 different countries across 4 days last month just for work. So for me, Dubai is actually a place of rest. So a lot of people always like, Hayley, are you even here? Are you even here? People are like, oh, let's go out. I don't really go out like that in Dubai, because this is a place where I'm recharging, so that when I'm going back to the UK, when I'm going back to America, when I'm traveling to Africa, when I'm doing the work that I do, I've allowed this place to be a place of recharging. This is my Dubai. My Dubai can look different to your Dubai.
Mine is the complete opposite.
Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. And I think a lot of people are trying to compare their Dubai to, I'm not trying to compare my Dubai to your Dubai. So I'm not looking at you thinking, Lámidé is always so busy, nothing happens for me. No, I know why I'm here. I'm here to rest, recharge. I'm here to plug to God. I'm here to say, okay, God, where's my place of strategy? This is my place where I strategize. apologize. This is where I'm like, okay, cool, let me do. And then when I go out to Dubai, I'm back to back. So when I'm in the UK, when I'm in the USA, when I'm in Africa, people are like, oh, yo, Hayley, you are back to back. Yeah, because I planned for my back to back in Dubai.
Literally.
I planned for that in Dubai. So I'm very big on, listen, if you know what you're here for, nobody can ever move you from where, you know, what you're called to do. And I'm very big on, this is why I'm so big on, know who you are and knows whose you are. Like, obviously, I'm a person of faith. So my anchoring comes from the Bible. My anchoring comes from God and, you know, that affirmation of my faith. But I'm very big on, be clear with what you want. I feel like a lot of people know what they don't want. And if I'm being honest, I feel like a lot of people come to Dubai sometimes to run away.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're running away from scarcity, you'll find it. If you're running away from what you don't want, you will find it. Because your focus is, I don't want this. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be... No, you will come to Dubai and be broke. Because you're trying to... Because your vision is still very much guided by what you don't want. Be clear on what you want. I came here and I said, okay, God, this is the year where it's not even about making 7 figures. It's about making investments that will make 7 figures. It's about coming here and establishing generational wealth. It's about establishing legacy. That's why I moved to Dubai. And even when I moved to Dubai, if I'm being honest, there's 3 reasons why I moved here. And this is why you have to have, and that was actually, it's very interesting because I actually wrote that I wanted to move to Dubai in 2024, January 2024. My husband and I had a whiteboard. And that whiteboard was something I was seeing every single day. We were in a 1-bedroom flat. We were outgrowing it, should I say. It was getting very tight, very small. Literally, like, our clothes couldn't fit. So many things couldn't fit. It was literally getting so uncomfortable. And literally, I was reading this whiteboard every single day. So I remembered, what do you want? And I literally said, by May 2024, I said, we need to have our visa and our residency in Dubai. And I literally said, in terms of Dubai, we need to have a bigger place. I want to have an ensuite. Like, I was very clear in terms of what I wanted. And I wrote that down in January 2024. No, I wrote that in January 2023, actually. And exactly May 2024, we had the residency, we had the business permit. We basically were able to now start the move to Dubai. And I wrote down May 2024, not even knowing how the hell I was going to get there. But it happened because I had a vision and I had a clarity. And 3 reasons why I moved to Dubai. I wanted to be in a place that would stretch me. I think there's a lot of people who are very comfortable with complacency. Very comfortable with complacency. I got to a place where I recognized I was complacent. I got to a place where I was recognizing that I was happy to basically be the top dog. I actually recognized that, Hayley, you're around people who basically are not challenging your tax bracket anymore. You are the person who basically is inspiring other people. Who's inspiring you? So I wanted to be in a land that was developed, but also developing. That's what Dubai is for me. Yes. Constantly, even where we live, there's a lot of buildings, a lot of places are still building around it. So we are actually constantly seeing buildings being built, and I love it. In my bedroom, I don't have curtains. So the sunlight actually wakes me up.
Same.
And I love that because it's literally like every single day I'm being reminded, Hayley, keep building. Don't get complacent. So that's the first thing. Number 2 is I wanted to be in a place that would inspire my vision. I wanted to be in a place that will constantly remind me, Hayley, this is not, basically have vision for your life. If you come to Dubai, you'll be inspired to envision. You'll be inspired to dream. You'll be inspired to think of greener pastures. And number 3, if I'm being honest with you, Dubai for me is not actually the end. It's the transition. So I really do believe that, you know, Dubai is a great place of transitioning. The reason why is because this is a place where you can actually tap into, best way I can say is a multi-network across the world. So I have friends here from Tanzania. I have people from Kenya, people from America, people from Kazakhstan, people from Palestine, people from Lebanon. I've been able to build that kind of global network actually in Dubai. But I'm very much aware of the fact that I'm building internationally. So being an international speaker, I want to train different corporations across the world. I want to be able to do different events. I want to be able to speak across the world. So why wouldn't I move to an international city as an international speaker? Why wouldn't I be able to surround myself with people who are going to teach me the language of the land? Like, there's a lot of people who always come to me. They're like, Hayley, I want to get into speaking. I want to be an international speaker. You have to understand that the language of London is very different to the language of Uganda. The language of Uganda is very different to the language of Nigeria because Ugandans are very subtle, very calm. Nigerians, you know, there's a bit of aggression with them.
Yes.
So you have to be able to speak to them in their language. But if you go to Lebanon, it's a complete different language. Go to America. Where in America are you speaking? Are you speaking in Minnesota? Are you speaking in New York? Are you speaking in Atlanta? Are you speaking in LA? Like, But the amazing thing about Dubai is you'll meet all those people in one land. So now I can be around my friend from Atlanta and she'll give me a game and say, oh, Hayley, when you go, you need to do this, this, this. Then I'll go to my friend that is based in Minnesota or someone from South Beach. And they're like, oh, when you come here, you need to go, Oh, and I'll speak to my friend in Kenya and say, no, Kenyans are like this, are like this. And it allows me to basically be a student of my work, a student of my craft. So I had to make this move because I recognize, as I said, that complacency. I wanted to be, a student of my craft. And I think there's a lot of people who are praying for a next level, but they haven't studied for it. And I always say you can't arrive at your next level before studying for it. Like if you want to study, and also another thing that I've recognized as well that people go wrong is they're trying to aim for the top level and they haven't even studied the next level. So people are getting very discouraged. And this is something that my mentor CJ says, where, people are looking at say for example, they want to start content creation. They're like, oh my gosh, I want to start content creation. And, you're studying the person that has 1 million, but why don't you study the person that has 1,000? Why didn't you study that person first? How did they get to 1,000 followers? And then when you hit the 1,000 followers, go and study the person that's hit 10,000. Then 10,000, go and study the person that has 50,000. Because if you're not careful, similar to what that woman had faced, when you're around people sometimes who are at the top level, you'll think about the gap. You'll think about, oh my gosh, the gap is too big. How am I going to get there? But if you surround with people who are just 2 steps ahead of you, you're going to know it's attainable. And I think that's what a lot of people do when they move to Dubai as well. You're trying to surround people to the top level. You're trying to surround yourself with the millionaires. No. Maybe surround yourself with the 50,000-aires. Maybe surround yourself with the 6 figures before you try and hit the 8 figures. Allow those people to inspire you. And then when you hit their level, because I do believe as well, another reason why I moved to Dubai is that network. Listen, success is a language. If you get around people who speak a particular language, you'll start learning it very fast. If you want to learn French, get around French speaking people. You will learn the bonjours and the comment ça va and the s'il vous plaît very quickly because you're constantly around that environment. So if you're around people who are, as I said, at that next level, you will learn the language and the strategy very quickly because you've immersed yourself into it. So I'm very big on, as I said, the clarity, the environment, and to find your Dubai and find your tribe. So yeah.
I love it. And this is the last point I'm going to make on that. I love what you were saying about contentment versus complacency. And those two things are quite different. And I know when I did a video when I moved to Dubai and I was saying I didn't move from the UK because I wasn't content. I was actually I'm great job. Yeah. I'd managed to find a good work-life balance. I was making money, whatever. But I was like, I'm too complacent. Yeah. I'm content. I'm not moving because I'm trying to find happiness in Dubai. I'm already happy, but I know that I'm way too complacent. And so for me, my move to Dubai was transformational because I wasn't moving seeking everything is just going to be better when I get to Dubai. I was already content where I was, but I knew I was complacent. But I love that. And I hope for the person who sent in that dilemma that was helpful. And just to round up, so we're going to be preparing, by the time this comes out, we'll be preparing to go into 2026.
Yes.
Is there any guidance, any passages, any advice you would have for Christians who are planning to go into 2026 and actually execute, be diligent, be consistent? Yeah. What advice would you give?
I would say, this is not just for Christians. I'm going to give universal principles that come from the Bible, but they're universal. Going back to that scripture, my favorite scripture, those who are diligent in their work should some think kings and not mere men. Have something going to be diligent in. So one of the things that I said for Q4, I had keywords. I said, okay, the keyword for me was network. Hayley, leverage your network. Every single week until the end of 2025, I am making sure I'm locking in with somebody who inspires me. At least minimum an hour, I'm going to lock in with somebody who inspires me. That is physically. So basically either a meeting. Then I'm going to do a lock-in with somebody in terms of a podcast or a book. So making sure I'm locking in with them mentally. So it doesn't even have to be somebody you have access to. It can be somebody that somebody who can just inspire you for a podcast or whatnot. So I've allowed myself to be diligent in that very thing. Okay, Hayley, you're going to be diligent in building your network. The second thing is I'm very diligent in this season of my life in terms of systems. So I'm going through a lot of my systems right now. Okay, what is working, what's not working? Just have clarity in terms of what are 3 areas you can focus on that even if you just tweaked it a little bit, it can make a massive difference. I think with a lot of people, what's happening is that they're trying to basically plan out their year. No, plan the day. Plan the day, plan the week. Don't get so overwhelmed in terms of the month. Oh my gosh, what does this month look like? I'm not trying to plan my month. I'm not trying to plan my quarter. I'm trying to plan the week. So every single week I'm like, okay, I need to block with this person. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. And I think if you can develop that skill for 2026 to not be overwhelmed by the year, just be planning the day. And as you plan the day, those little tweaks, it's something in terms of atomic habits. I'm going to paraphrase it. I may be wrong here, but it's talking about if a plane leaves New York, and I think if it shifts by like 3 degrees south, it will end up in LA. But if you do it like 3 degrees something else, it will end up somewhere else. Yeah. All it is that subtle tweaking. And I feel like people want to do the big changes, but you don't understand the power of the small tweaks and the small pivots. Like, don't be overwhelmed by the big changes, guys. And I think that's where a lot of people get drowned and overwhelmed. They're trying to do the big changes. Okay, I want to lose 500 pounds. No, maybe just focus on losing a pound a week. And then eventually there's compound interest. Compound interest isn't just for money. Compound interest is to every area of your life. If you just cut down maybe a bit on sugar a day, then it's going to get to a point where you literally be able to cut down the sugar. If you're a smoker and you want to stop smoking, people always say, don't just suddenly stop smoking. Cut down on your cigarette intake. Cut down on your tobacco intake. Like, just do the small pivot. And I think that's what my aim is for 2026. Hayley, what are the small pivots that you can commit to every single day or every single week and every single month? So that by the time I get to the end of the year, I'm not like, I'm not underwhelmed, basically. And I'll end it here. And this is something that I learned from a very young age. Don't overestimate what you can do in a year, but don't underestimate what you can do in 10 years. And that is basically my life story. Like, I think about the fact that I started speaking at the age of 15, and I don't think I actually, I knew that I would have moved in terms of my career, but if you told me that this is what I'd basically be tapping into 12 years down the line, I would have said no way. But it was those small little changes that now I can look back and say, wow, like, book deal, being able to like be the top UK D&I expert, being able to sit on a £1 billion restaurant group, being able to speak with some of the biggest organizations, being able to say that I've spoken across like 5 different continents and over like 20 different countries, like working with some of the biggest clients. I didn't actually know it was possible at the age of 15. But now when I look back at it, it was just the small, consistent steps that allowed me to build the career that I have. And, you know, I'm just here to say it, like, listen, you guys, my witnesses, I'm just getting started.
Period.
Like, I really do believe that I had the training wheels on the bike and now the training wheels are off. And because I've made so many mistakes, I know what path not to go down. So, you know, as you guys are making those small little pivots, you're going to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes very quickly. Don't take it personal, keep going. And yeah, man, guys, I'm going to see you guys at the top, because that's where we're heading.
Cheers. Thank you so much for coming, Hayley. Where can they find you? And then again, remind them about the book.
Yeah, so you can find me basically anywhere, on LinkedIn to Instagram to X, TikTok. All things are Hayley Mulenda, HayleyMulenda. And you can pre-order the book Speak Up that is coming out in January 2026. The pre-order link should be in the bio. You can get it on all major retail stores from Waterstones, Amazon. You can pre-order the book. And please, as Lámidé said, don't just buy the book for yourself. Christmas. This should be coming out before Christmas. Buy it for Christmas. Literally, everybody in your family, everybody
get them a copy.
Get them a coffee. Everybody get a coffee. And hopefully, I pray that the book will inspire you to, you know, learn how to tap into different incomes, learn to know what you stand for, and to build a legacy that will outlast you. So that's what the book is about. So yeah.
Thank you, Hayley.
No worries.